You, sir, caused the problem.
Okay, so you're talking to me like this isn't my first rodeo. Come on.
This is Then You Ruined It, the podcast that will last until one of us makes it weird. Hope you have a short commute.
So I'm known to, I definitely make a fair amount of dad jokes around here, around these parts. And one of my favorite genres of joke or whatever, it's not even joke, it's just dry wit, I guess, maybe you would call it. It's basically reading Calvin and Hobbes as a kid. And now I've lived long enough to see myself turn into Calvin's dad rather than Calvin. And I'm okay with that.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah, it should. And I'm perfectly fine with it. And, I think he was, low-key, probably the funniest character in that comic. I think what everybody should aspire to once they get to a certain age. And maybe have kids, that helps as well. So I like just throwing out little things that, the kids, most of them sound so ludicrous that they're just like, Dad, stop. But occasionally I'll hit them with one where they have to actually look to their mother and say like, Mom, is that true? Those are the ones where I'm like, yeah, got him. Nailed it. And it's like a full dismount. I hold my hands up and I just walk out of the room. I'm like, goodbye, family. I nailed it. So I had one of such of those the other day, and it didn't convince anybody, but it did catch on in a way that I hadn't intended, but is hilarious when it does. So we're having dinner, and I think my son had finished his meal because he finishes before all of us because he starts eating before us because he always eats different. It is what it is. The something different is very healthy. So I can't fault him for it. He's eating like fruits and vegetables, like fresh out of the fridge. And we're eating processed meat and whatever. It's like, you know what? You're eating better than us. So yeah, I'm going to allow it. So
I'm not going to change my own life to join you, but I'll let you be healthy.
No, absolutely not. No, he'll catch up to me. He'll
enjoy your kale, hippie.
It's not kale, just carrots and tomatoes and whatnot. Anyway, so he finishes his meal and he comes over to his mom and she's like, oh, come here, give me a kiss. Oh, a little kiss on the cheek. And my daughter's just like, oh, gross. And she's like, what? I'm doting on my son. And obviously they've never heard that word. And they just look at her just like, what? What are you doing on him? It's like, no, that's not what it means. Doting is when you love someone very, very much and you come up and instead of giving a hug or a kiss, you just rub your butt on them a little bit.
Wait, what?
Just a little rub. That's how you show somebody affection. It's called doting. And again, this time, my wife gives me the look. My daughter's kind of looking at me like, that can't be right? My wife looks at me just like, seriously? I'm trying to actually show affection to my son and you're making it a butt thing? Must everything be a butt thing with you?
I've been trying 20 years to make affection between the two of us a butt thing.
Nope, not true. I'm not gonna say. I was gonna say not happening, but that's not the case. Not true. No, I deny that. So yeah, we have a good laugh, and the kids are like, "That's not really what it means. What does it mean?" I tell them the truth. And even though I've told them the truth, they don't believe me because, who would believe the liar? Why should one believe Dad? He's not telling the truth about anything. I tell them it's, showing affection in a way. And it's like showing like appreciation. And then I come up, like the definition of doting on the spot. I'm like, what is it? I mean, I know what it is, but how do you verbalize it? Like, how do you say it? And I got to a pretty good definition. So I gave it to him and okay, that's that. So fast forward to a couple days later and... Once again, we're eating, and this time my son has not finished his meal. He just decides to get down like he does so often, and sometimes he just has a dance break and just feels the need to dance with whatever song is in his head before he gets back in his seat and keeps eating. Sometimes it's just to run around the room. Sometimes it's just to stand there. Just can't be bothered to sit at the moment. So he gets up, and he gets a smile on his face, and he goes over to my wife, and just starts, he looks like he's going to sit on her lap. And I'm just like, what are you doing? You're 6 now. You're too old for that. Get back over there. And he just rubs up and down. And I said, what are you doing? Stop that. He goes, I'm doting on Mom. And that was exactly my reaction. I just laughed and laughed. And my wife was like, see? And I'm like, yeah, I see. I see a joke that I told my son, and he used it perfectly. No notes, A+. Please go get a second dessert. On me.
Boy made Tom Green proud that day.
Your what is on it? My bum? Yes, that's correct. Get yourself a cookie. I felt so proud. And he of course kept using it. And it's just like, see, Dad, it's still funny, right? My butt is on something. I'm doting. I was like, yeah, okay, you've ruined it now. My daughter will do the same thing. She'll beat the dead horse and then just pummel the poor thing with as many baseball bats as she can find. See, Dad? See? I'm like, yeah, no, come on. Let's move on. That one's dead. Let's go kill another one. Plenty of them here to kill. All the time in the world. But that day, I was especially proud of myself for coming up with that on the spot and telling it in a way that made it sound believable. If you've never heard the word doting, which is a weird word, like we can all admit, but also doubly proud of my son who used it perfectly. And you could tell by the smile on his face of just like, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to get a chance to rub my butt on Mom. Because who doesn't love that? Right, Dad? Okay, we've talked about this.
So, all Oedipal problems with this aside.
There are none. Don't even make it weird.
You say that now, but if he appears in your room with a knife, I'll have the last laugh. Because there's two parts to Oedipus.
Okay. That I know where you're coming from, but good Lord.
You got to do both. You're happy now because you think he knows it's a joke. What if he doesn't? What if he really thinks this is the word? And what if he continues this behavior outside of the confines of your home? Because sooner or later, he will start to feel affection towards others outside the home. And if he is in middle school, rubbing his butt on some unwitting victim, you, sir, caused the problem.
Okay, so you're talking to me like this is my first rodeo. Come on. Come on. When this happens and I latch onto something and I see, it's taking the bait. Oh, yeah, it's getting away from us. It's getting away from us. I reel it back in. Just gently. You don't want to break the line. So I reel it back in. Say, no. Now, this is something only we do in the home. This is a silly joke. You don't do this ever outside. Okay? Got it? He nods. Of course, he's smiling like, well, but Dad, it'd be pretty funny, wouldn't it? It's like, yeah, I would, but don't do it, dude, because you're going to get us both in trouble. So, and there's also an incident that was from the last school year where he and a friend on the bus, apparently, I think they actually kissed. And again, it was just showing affection. Okay. And it's, a kindergartner. That's just, they see it and they want to emulate it. So, but it's also, a situation that the school, the bus driver, his teacher, I heard from like 5 different people that day of like, that's wrong, right? We have to tell him it's wrong. It's like, yeah, I get it. It's harmless. I mean, it's not harmless. I told him, we told him it's wrong. We told him why. We told him don't do it again. I'm sure the other parents have told the girl the same because I didn't want to get into the whole semantics of it. But I'm like, it takes 2 to tango. He wasn't the only one snogging.
My son got me too'd.
So, with that incident, we are much more careful about, like, don't do that at school. Got it? Remember the bus? That's all we have to say. Remember what happened on the bus? And he goes, I know. Kissed a girl and you shouldn't have. I know. So I think I did liken the rubbing your butt on someone to kissing.
See, now you're making it worse because kissing is appropriate in the right situation. There are plenty of situations in his life where if he finds someone he wants to kiss and they want to kiss, they may kiss in communion. But if they both just start rubbing their butts on each other, you've broken the next generation.
I mean, I've seen...
We already have a population crisis on our hands.
You're worried my son's going to be doing it wrong and he's not going to be able to procreate?
Yes! Yes, I am! It's all going to be your fault.
You think his influence will be great enough that he'll influence others to just rub butts and that will be just their thing?
Once again, we dodged this bullet once with Tom Green. We don't need a second one.
The most effective, influential cult leader of our time, Tom Green. Yes, I forgot about him.
Mr. Thomas Green, the Bum Bum cult.
I'd join.
Back then? Oh, yeah.
Sounds pretty harmless.
Well, I don't know. We got in a lot of trouble for rubbing our bums on things at school.
So, yeah, I mean, I figure, he's 6. So I'll have plenty of time to turn it around if he does, like, try and compare rubbing a bum on somebody to kissing. Like, yes, I can discuss that kissing is a nice thing if you both agree to it and you're in, a relationship, hopefully.
And not on the bus.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's PDA, and we'll get into that as well, when need be. But for now, we just take it as it comes and parenting. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. The long marathon.
It's a marathon where you're being chased by wolves. And in such a marathon, sometimes you need to sprint.
Sorry, the analogy. It didn't really fall apart. You just gave me all the blocks, and I was like, I can't build anything with this. These don't work together.
Yes,
you gave
they
me
do.
Duplo, you gave me Lego, you gave me Tycho, you gave me... This ain't going to work. So, yeah, no, there's no race where you're running from wolves. There's races, and there's running from wolves, but I don't believe the former exists.
But I'd watch it.
I mean, yeah, if it was on.
There is no analogy more appropriate towards parenting than trying to complete a physically difficult task, knowing that one misstep will lead to your death.
Okay. Maybe a bit fatalistic. I'd say maybe, it could lead to your utter embarrassment, maybe.
Could lead...
Death is a bit strong.
We've already discussed that in the next 2 or 3 years, your son is going to appear in your room with a knife so that he can rub his butt on his mom in peace.
I don't think we discussed that. You brought it up briefly, and I shot it down because, no.
And that is a discussion.
See, you said you want to talk about politics at all. You just got right into it. See, now we're having a debate. Thank you, sir.
I mean, no, it is a discussion. I presented something, and you're like, no. You didn't refute. You just said, no, I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, I guess if you want to tag that. See, I had a discussion today.
I tried to have a discussion, and somebody wouldn't let me.
Oh, what a sad social web you weave. I tried so many conversations with many people today. Nobody would let me start.
No one wants to talk to me. Somebody else. Hey, does your kid want to kill you? Let's talk about why. Because you didn't run fast enough from the wolves.
Maybe find different subject matter. Everybody wants to talk about that. Certainly. So next time you hear somebody say, that, they're doting on them or whatever context that word might be used, which is not much because it's a very unused word. That's why I had to latch onto it. My wife had to say it, and I'm just like, should have done that. Used a very normal but very rarely used word that I'm going to make a mockery of. Especially because it involves you trying to show affection towards our son.
Which I'm not having.
No, I must end that.
He must be strong. He must be a warrior. Let's go leave him out in the snow again. That was fun.
I was just going to say it's because I need all the attention. So
okay.
Stop doting on him. Let me dote on you.
Rub your butt on me. Dote me. Dote me, baby.
It's a word with no meaning anymore.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
In the Shinny household, the role of the dad joker has spread. Both my children are very funny, but my daughter has really gotten into it late. And so she did something the other day that my wife just had to tell me about, not because she was happy, but because she knew it would make me happy. So my wife was, I would say doting on my daughter, but now I'm not going to ever use that word again. Just kind of snuggling with her daughter and said, "Oh, you're my favorite girl." To which my daughter said, "What do you mean, Mom? What if you have another one?" And my wife's like, "No, that's not going to happen." My daughter's like, "Why?" And my wife is like, "We've briefly got into the puberty talk. Let's just throw it all on here and hit the menopause talk. Let's get that going too." So she's like, "Well, you know what a period is, right?" And she's like, "Yes." "Well, do you know what the opposite of a period is?" And my daughter's like, "Yeah, a comma." And the great thing is, it made my wife smile. It made me smile when I heard about it. And it stopped the uncomfortable conversation.
It's a win-win-win. Those are so rare in families, folks. You gotta love it.
Exactly.
Everybody's going home happy. Let's have ice cream.
Commas! And so the next time my wife complains about hot flashes, I'll be just like, "Yeah, well, it's the commas."
I hope you get as big a laugh or at least a reaction out of that as you should. That's a great callback. It's a dumb joke, but it's also really clever at the same time. Like, it's got everything.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I invite you to use it, too. Not you alone, but anyone listening. Feel free to belittle your wife's life changes by calling it commas.
Yeah, they'll love that. It's bad enough they have to go through the change with their body. Let's make fun of it.
Not making fun of it, belittling. It's very different.
I don't think it is. I think that's why you get so few people having conversations with you. I'm not making fun of you. I'm belittling you. There's a difference.
Every discussion with me is a delight. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Then You Ruined It. If you enjoy our flavor of nonsense, please like and subscribe wherever you found us. And please share with your friends and cooler family members.